Welcome to Do or Die, the show where we test whether or not Chirag's hubris holds up to what he has claimed, which is that he does not need all that much time as a person who has been running games and playing games and reading TTRPGs for 17, 18 years, would you say, Chirag?
Too many years, but yes.
So the whole idea of this show is that Chirag, one of the founding members of Daisies and Dragons, with whom you might be familiar, who's over here, is going to get 1 hour to prep a game that he has never read, he has never seen before, and he does not know as yet what game this is. Now, my beautiful assistant is going to drag the folder into the Google Drive folder so that Chirag can see what game Chirag will be. People cannot see you, beautiful assistant. Stop preening. Anyway, so Chirag, if you look at the Google Drive folder that you do have access to, and confirm that you can see what the game is, then we can get started with this show.
Looking to see it. It's loading, I imagine. It hasn't shown up yet.
Okay, so while it is loading, let me tell you how this is going to go. For an hour, Chirag is going to go through the game materials that have been provided to him. In the meantime, and he's going to be panicking in one part of the screen, and in another part of the screen, I will be talking to the designer of said game about all things TTRPG design, and specifically what made them want to make this game. Chirag, has the game shown up in your world yet?
Oh, I see it now. Oh, I can see it. Shall I read it out loud?
Please do. What is the game you are going to be prepping in an hour?
It's called Blazing Him. We will damn this world together.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. It is, in fact, called Blazing Him. The designer, Dejour, is McDonald.
Ooh.
Hello, Kat. Yes. So Chirag can now hear you because Chirag is running OBS, because OBS is not my friend. But Chirag now is going to take off his headphones or do something that makes him not be able to hear you so that he can concentrate on prepping and not panicking, because Chirag is perfectly confident.
I'm always confident. So confident.
Put down the headphone first.
Hold on. The audio suddenly went away. Let me just fix everything.
Are we
everything.
Are we
so we
clear?
can make sure the audience can hear.
So the audio went away for Chirag, so he's trying to fix something technical, and then we'll get back.
Okay, we're not clear. We're not clear. Okay.
Okay. The audience can hear. Kate, fine. OBS can hear. I cannot hear Kate in the slightest. I don't know what happened. But a moment ago I could hear Kate. I can't, but OBS can now hear Kate.
Cat.
Yeah.
Can hear Cat.
So OBS can hear Cat.
I can't.
The audience can hear a cat. Chirag cannot hear a cat, which is great, which is what we wanted.
Perfect. I wonder if he's
right.
going to find out how easy this game is. It's pretty easy.
I'm going to go read, and keep this on so you can stay in contact with me.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The combats are kind of big.
Right.
Okay, cool. So we will take full advantage of the fact that Chirag cannot actually hear you, Cat.
Yes.
Cat, yes. Tell the good people who are watching the stream, who are you? What do you do?
Hello! My name is Kat. I am the host king of the podcast Sword of Symphonies, where my good cool friends playtest my game, and the choir master of Roar to Heaven, an actual play of this game, Blazing Him, where different cool friends play a different game and are punished for it. Roar to Heaven is a 13-episode, very anime-inspired actual play that you can find. And I like it. I think it's good.
Amazing. So
I write games too sometimes.
Yes, Kat also writes games sometimes. But all the links for stuff that Kat has worked on and has mentioned will be available on Twitch and on YouTube for your perusal. So, Kat, tell us, how do people find you on the interwebs, and what kind of games do you like to make should they look you up?
Let's see. Easiest places to find me are peachgardengames.com, Catling Gun on Twitter and Busky. Yeah, that's where you find a cat for sure. You can also find me at cosmoscameo.com. That's kind of where my podcast studio is at. Peachgardengames.com, Peach Garden Games on itch as well. You can find the games. You can find news about the games by following me on the socials. There's news about the games, but it's secret.
It is a secret. It is a secret that you can access if you follow Kat on socials.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. So, what made you decide to make Blazing M?
Okay. So this audience might not know about the gamer incident. So I'm excited to share this bit of lore. So TTRPGs, Spencer Campbell, wrote a game called Frame, which was an extremely transparent Warframe fan game, meant to evoke the feeling of looter shooters. However, news about the game got into some real gamery corners, and people started getting real weird about it, claiming it was like infringing IP, which, like, no, it wasn't. It was a transparent fan game that didn't even use the same terms, but that's... Anyway, it was a real dark time, and Spencer eventually wound up, unfortunately, taking the whole project down. I was really excited about Frame because I was pretty sure I could hack it into a transparent fan game of my favorite anime, Symphogear. A deeply stupid anime that I adore. And then Gila RPGs came out with the Lumen system, which was the mechanical backbone of Frame that was just kind of released on its own. And the result was this really cool little community of games sprouted up. And most of them were like the progenitor project, transparent fan games, because the Lumen system is meant to be very actiony, very dynamic, in a way that really caught people's attention. It was a tactical game, but it was still rules light, which was perfect for someone like me who maybe doesn't have the attention span for D&D's combat system, but wants a tactical game where the choices I make in combat have impact. I'm very much a power gamer. So a lot of fan games sprouted up from the Lumen system, and one of them was Blazing Him. Symphogear, Senki Zesho Symphogear, is an anime about a future in which aliens from another dimension have invaded the Earth. Everything they touch turns to ash, and the only way to fight them off is with the power of ancient relics channeled through the songs of teenage girls that turn them into, like, mecha magical girls, and they sing songs.
It makes perfect sense to me.
It makes perfect sense. Thank you, Poorna. I knew I could count on you. So it is, I think, very good. I think it is. I think the animators are too horny, but I think that the music is incredible. The animation is, like, very fluid and cool, and the cop fights are fun to watch. And I think it's pretty well written. I enjoy Symphogear a lot, but mostly I wanted to capture that feeling of just, like, singing out loud on the battlefield and unleashing these really way too powerful moves. So when the Lumen Jam came around, I was like, well, this is what I wanted to do with Frame, so I'm doing it. And just just to kind of not literally just make Symphogear the game, I folded a little bit of my own raised Catholic trauma in, and also a little bit of Neon Genesis Evangelion, which made the focus of, hey, these are children fighting monsters, that's not okay, which Symphogear doesn't possess. It's not that serious a show. They don't go that deep into it. But, and it also folded in this concept of a hostile heaven. And so that's what Blazing Him is. That's where Blazing Him came from.
Ooh, a hostile heaven. Cannot wait to hear more. All right, so Kat, we're just going to take a brief pause. Chirag, were you trying to get my attention?
Yes, I just wanted you to let Kat know that this is one of the coolest systems and ideas for a setting that I've ever seen. Big fan of, one, giant mech / power armor, and 2, breaking out into song. It's a good combo.
Given that Kat will watch this, I will say some of that. Kat, Chirag was just trying to get my attention to let you know this is one of the coolest things he's ever read in terms of game systems. Big fan, likes the bursting into song and the giant mechs.
Yeah. It's just cool.
It is just cool. You heard it here first, folks. So, who would you say is the target demographic for this game?
Me.
Yes, Chirag, you and possibly others. Who is the target demographic?
Listen, if anybody who's a fan of mid-aughts, just really energetic, vaguely, not even mid-aughts, because early aughts had some too, really energetic, surreal mecha series, this is definitely a game you can use to play that out. I've seen, my target demographic is shamelessly for this one just me. But this game has had really good reception from people who are relatively new to TTRPGs, because the mechanics are pretty streamlined, and because I leave the descriptions either vague or out entirely, which means a player who's coming from a storytelling or improv background is very free to just imagine what their character is doing and describe things uniquely. Also, I've had good responses from people who are just looking for mech games that weren't Lancer. We're looking for mech games that they could play easily. A lot of people have come back to me and said that this was perfect for that. It's also very podcastable and streamable, but that's partially because I'm an AP guy. It's in my blood at this point. I don't even do it on purpose. But it lends itself to a lot of high drama, so.
I love it. But so, as a person who doesn't really consume a lot of anime, do you think I would enjoy this game?
The game? Oh, probably. Probably. Because, at its core, the trappings of the game are transparently my favorite anime. But what is in the game itself is questions about, who these characters are, what they feel the most passionate about, what their reason for engaging in combat with monsters is. And so, it's a game that delves very, very deep into feelings and passions without necessarily mechanizing them to the extent that some, PBTA games do, which I really enjoy. That's my scene. I'm not sure if it's everybody's, but you could also play it pretty quickly. So if you turn out not to like it, it's okay.
So basically, if you like high drama, you enjoy the breaking out into song, you enjoy a quick game, if for those of us with certain attention deficiencies that we need not delve into too much.
Big cool power fantasy.
Yeah. So that works out for everybody, I think, basically. All the Venn diagram is a circle. So what is it about crunchy tactical games that you're like, you want to take me precious?
I like tactics. Even when I'm playing cooperative games, I like co-op games with a goal. Like the Lord of the Rings board game that they put out, where you were all kind of the fellowship and you were taking the ring together. That's my favorite board game of all time. It truly is. But like, because I don't really like competition, but boy, do I like puzzle solving.
Yeah.
So like,
I love games with some puzzle solving.
Exactly. So being put in front of a combat where it's like, how do I win? Or not how do we win this fight? That gets my gears turning. That's maximum engagement for me. Is like, there's a way to win this fight using the resources me and my friends have. How can we get it done? That's exactly my stuff. So like, I love games that give me a chance to sit down and unravel these things. But I just find that I just don't really have the interest or attention span in very, very granular games. Like I've played Heroes Unlimited. I've played various Palladium titles. And like many people, I got my start in Dungeon Dragon. And they're not bad. But
some of my best friends play those games.
Yeah. And like I run D&D once a week for my friends. But I like a game where everybody can sit down and feel like they have full understanding of all the mechanics that could possibly come up.
Man, that would be nice.
And then they could just sit down, play it out without having to like look up how grappling rules work.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. Like I feel also like, as someone who interacts a lot with media about games, because I'm part of the game design world now, I feel like I now have a lot less brain real estate to afford to rules I didn't create. I'm like, please just tell me, in the most concise possible way, how I can play this incredible thing that you have made, and have a great time.
Even what I always say is that D&D taught me how to play D&D, but Vampire taught me how to play TTRPGs. Vampire the Masquerade was probably the second or third role-playing game I ever played. I'm pretty sure it was after the Palladium junk. I'm not, but its rules. The rules of World of Darkness are so much less restrictive and so much slimmer than D&D's that I was transfixed as a teen. I was playing this game that like we could go through a scene without having to look anything up in the book. We could just sit and play.
Yeah.
And that was wild to a kid who'd only played D&D and freaking Palladium.
Yeah. No, I think
World of Darkness is actually pretty chunky by the standards of modern indie game design, but it's a huge step down from D&D.
Yeah, I think the things people have done with just a few pages in the past few years is just incredible. It's been really cool to see. And I've seen also in some game jams that I've been a part of, either because I've organized them or because I was just there and marveling at the talent people have in this space. Just really cool things that people can do in 1 page or 2 pages. And it can be like a really nice game that you can play multiple sessions of, a mini series sometimes. Anyway, so I know that you said that you like cooperative games and things that you can play together and you can have sort of like a common goal that everybody understands how the part that they play in getting there.
Yeah.
But I feel like in previous conversations, you have also mentioned that you enjoy a game that feels a little bit broken.
Oh, yes. Oh, I do. Yes. Absolutely, I love that. Oh, you're right. Here's the thing, though. There are two kinds of balance. There are two. Players will say there's balance. People will say that balance. There's not just one balance. There's two balance. There's balance of player versus GM or player versus encounter. And then there's balance of player versus player. These are fundamentally different. Balance of player versus player is important because if you make a game in which one class is noticeably better than all the others, you have wasted your effort. You have written one class, no one will play the other ones, or they will play them for a session, realize they picked wrong, and have a bad time. Player versus, the player's options should be equally enticing. They do not all have to be equally powerful unless power is the primary enticement point in your game. Like, Blazing Him is a tactic. Oh.
Sorry, I'm being asked a question. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay.
No worries. No worries. Where should I pick up from?
You're fine to just continue the thought. We were still recording. It's just, I didn't want to be looking up surprise.
No problem. I'll take it from the top of the sentence then.
No worries. I just wanted to let him.
For example,
sorry, Kat. I just wanted to cut to, since there was an accidental break, just wanted to cut to Chirag to see how he's doing with going through your very cool game. Chirag, how's it going?
It's going well. I think come back to me. There's some weird sound coming off from the thing, but otherwise, really enjoying it. Finished my first run through. Now I'm planning the game, but good stuff. It's good. Come back when I can talk to her cat.
I will, but I will also at this time ask my beautiful assistant if they would like to add some additional stuff into that folder that you wanted to. Okay, cool. Since Chirag has done his first run through of the game and is planning the session now, I feel like now is a good time to throw. I know, so fast. Now is a good time to lob him a possible challenge? Question mark. That's Chirag looking incredibly confident. Anyway, all right. All right. So, Kat.
Yes.
So sorry for the interruption.
No,
please continue.
So, Blazing Him is a very combat-forward game. It's a very tactical game. What that means is that the primary reward for players is power. It's what they want. They want to engage with the combat in more newer, more interesting ways. So I have to make sure that the power level of abilities are balanced between the classes. Otherwise, there's only one correct choice, and that's no fun. That's no good. But in a game that's very story-based or very narrative-forward or a mix of the two, you can offer stronger and weaker options that are more or less kind of narrative trigger focused. Be careful with that, depending on the signals you're sending with your game. Primarily, though, your player should have a reason to play every class, or else you wasted your effort. Player versus GM balance is made up. The GM holds all the cards. The GM can just put more stuff on the field. The GM can do whatever they want. Why do the players have to be balanced against that kind of power? False. Made up. Fake idea. So when I say I like a game that's broken, I mean I like a game where the players are compared to the GM's encounters or the GM's monsters extremely powerful. This gives the players this cool power fantasy of just absolutely laying waste to everything that is in front of them and being just big, cool heroes. And I do have encounters in there that act as like a wall to just let the players, give the players some resistance. But you can give the players resistance in Blazing Him just by putting more angels down, lots of them. You're the GM, add more, whatever. The other thing is that one of my favorite video game RPGs, I don't know why I'm mind pressing buttons to communicate that concept, is Bravely Default. And part of the reason I love Bravely Default is because it's broken as hell. But it's not broken in just one way. So whenever you play that game, you can just stumble upon little skill interactions or little class interactions that fully crack the game wide open. And so you sit there playing that game like, haha, I'm a genius. I figured out what happens when you combine pirate and vampire. And the answer is violence. But because there's so many different, very, very powerful options, you feel like a genius because you stumbled into this combo that causes so many problems. And I love that feeling in a game. Fabula Ultima is a TTRPG that captures that feeling extremely well. So I genuinely think that players being balanced against the encounters is not always necessary. And in fact, depending on the game experience you're going for, is a bad thing. Whether it is that you want your players to really have to dig deep to fight an encounter, and so, like, you make the players pretty weak compared to the encounters, or whether you want the players to mow through most encounters until they hit like a boss. Like, either way, no, balance is a problem in those two scenarios. That's my story about balance. Like, balance players against each other, not against the GM. The GM can do whatever they want. They don't need it. They have enough power.
On that note, I'm also just going to check in with Chirag. Hey, Chirag, have you had a chance to look at the additional things that my beautiful assistant has put into the game folder?
Your beautiful assistant, who I will one day steal from you. All I've got so far is a copy of the character information, which isn't so much a challenge as it just looks. It's good to have their character sheets ahead of time. Is there something else I should be looking at?
So sometimes we're going to add helpful stuff. Sometimes we're going to add unhelpful stuff that will just complicate your life. In this case, you have looked out, and maybe my beautiful assistant, likes you. I don't know. Either way, how is the game prep going? Do you feel panicky, or is the hubris still alive and well?
No, I have some notes, but so far the game itself seems fairly straightforward. It does feel like one of those things where it's like it goes a little bit off vibes, but also like as long as the characters know what their stuff does, it shouldn't be too tricky. I say with complete hubris, because that is also one thing. Like the GM players be like, I know what my character does. Like, but it's your job. I like, no, your job, GM. You have to know everything. So we'll see how it goes.
Yes, exactly, GM. You do have to know everything.
I must know everything.
I will just take a beat here to explain to people watching at any point that the way this works is that the players have had a session 0 with a different GM beforehand. So we have gone through safety tools, character creation, and comfort level with various kinds of scenarios. And they have had the chance to go through the game with way more time on their hands than Chirag is getting. So we are not throwing this challenge at multiple people, just Chirag, who basically said, hey, Poorna, I have this idea for this stream.
That was an idea.
Oh, this was Chirag's idea.
And I just to get this on the record for every episode, this was Chirag's idea.
Sure. Someone would agree for this.
Oh my God, the denial. Anyway,
I love this. This is good stuff.
I have witnesses. Anyway.
There are receipts. Yeah. You got it.
There are receipts. All right. Anyway, Yeah. Also, for those of you interested, one of the things that we will be doing is offering designers who would like to, indie designers, and especially those from marginalized communities, we would like to give also them the option also of coming back a week or two after the AP is aired to chat about what they think. Of the interpretation of their game and their rules and their mechanics within like a quick prep 1 hour scenario, any tips they have for other GMs who might want to do the same, and just general sort of discussion of how they thought the game went and any tips they have for playing the game. We also want to make sure that indie designers get the time that they want to talk about whatever they loved about this game, about making this game, about playing this game, about seeing the reaction of people who played this game to the game. And we want
I'm so excited for that part.
So, yeah. Now back to Cat.
Oh, I'm so excited for the part where I get to see the reactions, because here's the thing. Every table I've ever played Blazing Him at, everyone went full drama kid with their characters, with their story stuff, with their songs, with their actions in combat. Like, they got fully messy in a game that does not have out-of-combat rules at all. They kind of pull all that character into the combat. I am so excited to see your crew play it. I have never had a bad time watching or running Blazing Him.
Incredible. And I know that you know this, Kat, but I think it's also going to be really interesting for different players and different cultural from different cultural backgrounds to play this game, because music and song and their importance and connotations, depending on what they choose, are so visceral, but also so different across the world. So it's going to be really interesting to see what players from the South Asian TTRPG space do with your game.
I'm also curious about this, but the thing I'm most curious about is that, like, this game is very much steeped in my having been raised Catholic and being a weirdly religious child, but we don't have to go into that part. I'm an adult now. Now I do witch stuff, but that's not the point. The point is this game is very steeped in growing up a femme person in a religion that explicitly marks them as lesser beings. In short, like, a lot of what this game is trying to express is the disdain I always felt from God in heaven as part of the doctrine of the church I followed as a child. And so the idea that, like, heaven itself thinks less of you was not a comfortable one for me. But, like, that's a notion that comes specifically from Catholicism. So, like, hey, players who weren't raised Catholic and weren't raised Christian, for that matter, in most sects, that depends kind of, there are a couple, but that's not the point. People who were not raised in those particular sects of Christianity, how do they feel about and react to the notion that God is trying to kill us all? That I'm excited about philosophically. Because, like, my personal experience is not universal, and I'm curious to see where this idea goes when your crew has the reins to it.
Yeah, why? My lived experience is not universal should be on a t-shirt, but you know,
truly and fully.
Yes.
Facing, like, upside down, so you're the one who can read it, just in case you get fucking wrong. Yeah, like, I look down, it's like, oh yeah, not everybody's Canadian, I remember now.
It's true. But also I think in general on this show and with Daisies and Dragons, which is a very welcoming TTRPG community in India, founded by Chirag, who is on this call and is not panicking nearly enough, frankly.
No, here's the thing. He's got to have some easy episodes, right?
Okay, he's pretending to panic now. It's the hubris is ridiculous.
Here's my.
I have many concerns.
It's not a
I have many
difficult
worries.
GM.
I want to talk to Kat about the worries, but that's not the rules of the
Lightbringer
game.
is complicated. Lightbringer is complicated. Did you show him Lightbringer? I don't know, but Lightbringer is complicated.
So here's the thing. Chirag just said, I have many concerns. I would love to talk to Kat about those concerns, but that's not the show we're doing.
It's not the show! That's not the show! Keep your concerns! Do your best! I'll talk to you about them after!
In fact, we have an entire segment of that.
I'll talk to you about your concerns later, but not right now.
It's okay. He can't hear you comforting him.
No, he can't.
And I'm okay with that. Why does Chirag need to be comforted? Chirag, stop pretending to cry.
About players turning into turrets. It's probably about players turning into turrets.
Let me ask. Chirag.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah. Are your concerns primarily about players turning into turrets?
No, that was not one of my
concerns.
No, that's not a concern. I would feel much better if they turn into turrets. If they're combat effective, that's great. What I'm worried about is that there aren't actually any guidelines in the book for how to build, these encounters. There's one example, which goes against the advice that came out earlier, which was, hey, avoid showing Nephilim. And then because they're very dangerous. And then the only example adventure, there's a Nephilim. So I'm just like, what is the right number of, things to show, of bad guys to show? What is the amount? Is it too much? Like, I don't have a guideline for, what's the thing? So I'm just going to be like, how long's an encounter supposed to be? Who knows? We'll find out together. As long as they are good at killing the bad guys, I'll be fine. If it's too easy, I can always increase the numbers. That's not an issue. If it's too difficult, then there's an issue. But I can still work around that. So,
for the sake of people watching, I'm going to ask Kat this question, but luckily, you are not able to hear the answer. Kat.
Yeah.
So, the advice in the game, as Chirag understands it, is that maybe don't throw bad guys at the players. Don't throw Nephilim at the players because they're really powerful and all of this at the start. But the example encounter throws Nephilim at the players. So Chirag is like, how many Nephilim is too many Nephilim? And also, I think Chirag is kind of thinking about what is a good way to design an encounter as a GM, to construct an encounter as a GM for this game.
I have good answers that he won't hear.
He won't hear, but the people will. By all means, go ahead.
The answer to the first question is, you're not the boss of me.
Sorry, Chirag, the answer to the first question is, you're not the boss of me. All right, anyway, carry on.
And the answer to the second question is, Lumen has some really wonderful advice for how encounters are structured, which is that because the scene should be changed every GM turn, what I do when I'm writing an encounter is I start with how many turns max I want this to last. Usually 5 or 6. And then I determine what the big changes are in each turn, like whether it's a new wave of enemies or an enemy doing something really obnoxious or like a piece of rubble falling from the ceiling. And then I kind of flesh those out with waves of enemies. And yeah, I do consider Nephilim like boss monsters. You should probably not have an encounter with more than one. I can't hear you.
And which of these things do you think, if any, I should convey to Chirag, given that he has 10 minutes left to prep?
I have really good advice in the manual about it. If he's stuck, I don't know. No, you know what? Let's, has he read Has he read Rhinestone Revenge?
Chirag, have you read Rhinestone Revenge?
The example adventure? Yeah, I'd read it.
Yes. He has.
Okay. All right. Rhinestone Revenge is a weird one.
Wait.
But
Hold on.
okay, then my advice
Wait,
to Chirag,
one second.
start with what you want to change about the battle. Ooh.
Yes.
The example mission is not called Rhinestone Revenge. It's called Riverside Rainbow.
Chirag says, "What is Rhinestone Revenge?"
It's a one-shot that I wrote.
It's called Riverside Rainbow.
No, Riverside Rainbow's the one in the manual. Rhinestone Revenge should be in the Ultimate Collection. Which is what I gave you the code for, right?
Let me just check.
I'm pretty sure in the Google Drive I saw like the Ashes to Ashes and stuff.
Yep. There is
Ashes to Ashes, Lightbringer.
I'm just going to briefly share the Google Drive with you, Kat. So you can see
I had it, but I was scrolling up looking for it. Where will you put it?
On Discord.
Oh no! I don't have access. Wait. Oh, I know, because I'm not logged in as me.
Oh.
Why is this the case? I should be me, not... Oh no! This isn't... Oh no! No, it's not in there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not Ultimate Collection. That's probably for the best, so no one's going to turn into a turret.
Okay. So when we go back...
Yeah, so my actual... I'm going to give my actual advice.
Oh, yeah, so... Okay, we're still recording. Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so my actual advice is start with how many turns long you want the combat to be max, and then write what you should change about the combat for each of those turns. Then flesh it out with little monsters.
Okay. And is this advice that you would like the audience to have, or Chirag to have?
I will give it to Chirag. He's got 10 minutes.
All right. Chirag, start with the max number of rounds of combat that you want to have. And because the scene changes with every GM turn, you want to be... Sorry, Kat, can you repeat yourself?
Sure. So the scene changes every GM turn, so you want to then write out what you want to change about the situation every turn. Then you flesh it out with your waves of little ghoulies.
Right. So you want to kind of plan for what you want to change in every scene with every GM turn, and then you flesh it out with your baddies. Yes, and also the previously referred to document. You're not blanking. It's not in the thing.
Yeah. I thought you had a different one. Sorry.
It is available on the internet.
It is. I wrote a one-shot that would probably be really helpful for Chirag to have.
Challenge is I'm not getting all the documents I need to run this adventure. Gas.
Sorry.
No. You're getting all the documents you need to run this adventure, just not ones that would be super helpful. Which is fine for this show. So, Kat, any last thoughts that you would like to share about either this game or any other cool projects that you would want to promote, either some that already exist out on the internet or upcoming ones? Well, we give Chirag the last few minutes to prep.
I'm writing a transparent Shin Megami Tensei fan game called Rebirth Roulette. It is about the world ending horribly, and in the middle of the apocalypse, time freezes, and Fortuna opens a casino where people gamble for the right to shape the new world that comes after the apocalypse. So if you are a degenerate and love the devil Pokemon like I do, maybe keep your eye out for Rebirth Roulette. Also recently wrote a game for the Who Can Bear These Hugs jam that Poorna hosted. And my game is a very pretentious and very eldritch game called Embrace Imperative Tense. And it is the least cozy game in the list, I guarantee.
We will also add the link to the games that came out of this jam. One of which was co-created by one of the players we're going to see in a few minutes. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to ask my beautiful assistant if the players are all there.
Hi, beautiful assistant!
Kat says, hi, beautiful assistant. Okay, I am going to call said player. Okay, well, I'm waiting on a response from said player. What I will just do, Kat, is give you space to do like an outro for the interview for your bit, and then if you would like, you are welcome to stick around for the recording of the AP.
I want to watch. I want to watch. I want to watch. I want to watch.
Okay, cool. So you're welcome to watch. You might have to be on mute because otherwise, yeah.
I might actually switch devices so I can sit on my couch and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Sounds like my jam. Okay.
Yeah, you can just like leave your camera off, like just watch as the Chaos Gremlins descend. But yeah, and then same for you, beautiful assistant. I know that you have another game to get to that you are actually GMing, so by all means, take off whenever you need to. I can also be around in the background, just for laughing at Chirag mostly, honestly. But yeah. So Chirag, what do you think about the So, are you ready to do like outro and then shift to the AP? Like, do you have all the assets and stuff? That's happening.
That's the thing. There's drilling upstairs, so I might want to just. I don't know when it just does it randomly. Get rid of it. So I might need just 10 minutes to see if it'll go.
Sure. So I will. So let's just do the stuff where we do the outro with Kat and the outro of the interview in general, and then take a break while we like a 5-minute break, and I'll go check in the players and stuff like that. Cool. Great. So, I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna count us down, and then we will assume we're back in the interview. So, 3, 2, 1. So, Kat, thank you so very much for chatting with us today. While Chirag displays an unwise level of hubris about playing your game with 1 hour's prep, but as you said, it should be pretty quick to pick up and play for any experienced GM, especially one who has shown such enthusiasm for your mechanics. Thank you for agreeing to chat with us on this show, and I hope that you will get a lot more people looking at your game from South Asia and beyond. Because
they have to tell me about it if they do.
And once the AP is done and you have had a chance to watch it at leisure, we would love to have you back in a couple of weeks to chat about what you thought about the AP and Chirag's interpretation, or any GM's 1 hour interpretation of the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes.
And so I will just give you some space to tell the good people stuff you're excited about promoting just as we wrap up the interview section.
Okay. I'm Kat. You can find me at peachgardengames.com or on social media at Catlingun, CATLING gun. Pew, 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 pew. You can also find my podcasts at peachgardengames.com or at cosmoscameo.com, including Roar to Heaven, the official actual play of Blazing Him, which was 13 episodes and was a hell of a ride.
Right. I'm trying some
I hope
things.
that you enjoy this. I am super looking forward to watching this AP, and I can't wait to tell you all about how excited I am after I see it. Listen, I want to see it. I want to see it. It's time for me to see it.
Great, thank you very much, Kat. This is how excited all designers should be when they come on to
Listen,
our show.
you know me. I'm pretty much nothing but like enthusiasm. That's pretty much.
You are, in fact, a living ball of enthusiasm. And for those of you watching, Kat's games are at peachgardengames.com, peachgardengames.itch.io. Kat is also very, very, very good at mechanics. I've had the privilege of looking at some other games that Kat has designed, and regardless of what the game is, anyone who knows anything about the mechanics is always wowed by what it does for players and their enjoyment of the thing. So thank you, Kat, for...
Don't say those things while recording me, I'll die.
Sorry, made it too nice. I have to balance it out. I'm being mean to Chirag. I'm being mean to Chirag. I have to balance it out. Thank you, people who have been watching. Thank you for watching, people who have been or people who are watching at any point in time. In a couple of minutes, we will be back with an EP of game Blazing Him.
See you in the after show.